Hello, and welcome once again to the Dental Marketing Mastery Series. This podcast is brought to you by dentalwebcontent.com and New Patients Incorporated. I'm Howie Horrocks, the founder of New Patients Incorporated. Along with me once again is my friend and partner and the president of New Patients Incorporated, Mark Dilatush. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Howie Horrocks. That guy over there across the country is Mark Dilatush. He's the president of NPI.
Hello, Howie.
Yeah, how's it going, man?
All right. It's late January in New Jersey, and we haven't had one snowfall yet.
You're kidding.
We had one.
That's like,
I'm sorry. I was just informed we've had one.
oh, okay. Yeah. Wow, that's unusual.
And when you look out your window at the mountains, what do you see, Howie?
I see snow on top of the mountains here in
Vegas.
Vegas.
In Las Vegas. That's right.
Yeah.
So,
but it's not falling down on the floor of the valley. So.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
All right. In fact, it's like 60 degrees today. I think I'm going golfing later.
Attaboy. Good deal.
Anyway, let's talk about something. It's a topic that pops up every now and then on the dental forums that we monitor and participate in, and that is branding.
Branding. Well, why don't you give everybody your definition of branding, and then I will give everybody my definition of branded.
Yeah. Well, branding it's basically you have to change your point of view. It's not about you as much as it is about your public or the people that you're serving. It's basically how do people feel about you and your service or your store or your practice, and what and things they might know about it. It's from their perspective.
Okay, so a non-consumer, a non-customer's perspective of a business.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the definition of branding.
Yeah.
Okay. So dentists call me and they say, or they call any one of our advisors and they say, I want to brand my practice as the X.
Right.
You can fill in the blank.
The gentle dentist of Tucson or
right,
whatever.
Exactly. Or the sedation dentist or the sleep dentist or the short-term ortho dentist or the implant dentist or the, just fill in the blanks. And I hear this word of branded bantied about as if it's even achievable. Okay. For the average dentist. Okay. So now before everybody thinks what I'm about to say is, Debbie Downer, or we own a marketing firm. We send out 11 to 14 million impressions a month. We're all about advertising. We're all about branding dental practices. But when I hear a dentist say, I want to be branded, it brings up the definition of really what it really means to be branded in dentistry is the following. Is when someone who is not a patient of yours refers to your dental practice.
Yeah, that's very good.
Okay. That's when you're branded. Now, the difference between branding and branded is years and tens of thousands of dollars of properly placed advertising. In order to reach out and impress upon someone who's not even your customer, not even your patient, and convince them that you are the deal, you are the guy or the gal in town, right? To go to for anything dental. Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
My dog's got a broken tooth. Well, I don't know about anybody else but Dr. Smith. Okay. Dr. Smith may not be a veterinarian, dentist. Okay. But it's the only one I know, and I heard lots of good things. So there's the name I'm going to give you, Dr. Smith,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. The
that's
dog dentist.
yeah, that's an example of branded. So Howie's example of branding was right on. It's the perception in the mind of the non-customer. In
Right.
order
Now,
to get from branding to branded, I think many dentists think that's a short travel.
oh no. Oh no.
Oh, no, no. I mean, how many, you and I know probably, you and I wouldn't have to get away from our fingers to count the number of truly branded dental practices in the country. Really.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
to our toes, maybe. Right?
Yeah. And you know what is probably unconsidered by many dentists is that, you know, again, how long that might take to bring about, and 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 you really actually, I don't want to say you ignore it, but you're not trying to do that. You're just trying to market your practice and get your name out there. Okay, the brand will develop over time. It
Right.
might take a long, long time. It usually does. I mean, you take a look at people who are companies who are concerned about branding, or like, you know, Nike,
Budweiser, small
yeah,
company.
Budweiser,
Yeah.
but also note they have a bazillion-dollar marketing budgets, and they've been
Exactly.
at it for many, many years. That's what it takes to really get welded into the minds of the public. And that's another reason that one-time Super Bowl commercials usually fall flat. It's because they're trying to achieve that branding in one fell swoop. It doesn't work.
Exactly. So branding is what your non-patients think about you.
Yeah, and maybe they don't think about you, right?
Right.
So you have to continue marketing.
Exactly. Yeah, the answer to that question might be, I don't know anything about that person. And
Right.
that's an example of, you know, you just haven't impressed them yet, or impressed them enough.
Yeah, or they haven't received enough impressions. You know.
Right. So that's branded. Branding, or excuse me, that's branding. When we get the question branding, it's often in relation to the beginning of the image of the practice. Things like logos,
Oh yeah.
practice names, taglines, URLs, things that you set out to establish when you first either purchase a practice or establish a startup, or maybe there's a transition of ownership within the same practice. A lot of people say, I want to brand my practice. And that's the initial branding, or those pieces. We will tell you that, and I'm cautious when I say this, because I don't want to say it's unimportant, because it is. There are pieces of a branding or an image package which are very important. The practice name and the URL need to tie together, and they need to tie together in a way that is not difficult for a searching consumer to spell. So branding, logos, names, taglines have a lot to do with all the future advertising you ever do. So I'm not going to say it's unimportant, but I know Howie and I agree that dentists and their teams spend an inordinate amount of time mired in the selection of, the critique of things like logos.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Or
I mean, it's you know, we kind of laugh. We're not particularly making fun, because, you know, we spend a lot of time on our own dang logos, but
right,
but really it's not that important, you know. And it's funny to watch somebody throw up a logo on a dental forum and ask for opinions, and it's wild. You know, you get everything from it's trash to it's great, or you should do this, or you should do that. And all of a sudden everybody's a logo designing expert. You know?
Yes,
And
yes.
it, you know, I
And
just
and
laugh.
none of it ever generated one patient in the history of dentistry.
Exactly.
Zero.
Oh, he has a great logo. I'm going to go to his practice.
Yeah,
Well,
no,
no,
it doesn't work that way.
said no one ever in the history.
Exactly. Exactly. So when we say that with all the love and consideration in our hearts, because we understand that when you're building a new practice or you're taking over a practice and you want to put your own personality, your own style, we understand, right?
Yeah.
But you have to look at it from our perspective too. If we have, let's say, 11 marketing projects, they've all been prioritized based on the avoidance of risk and based on your available budget. And they've all been organized in deployment order. Guess which one of those projects comes first?
Right.
The logo design. Okay. Okay. So if you hold up a logo design for 4 months with your designer, whether it's an NPI design, we're not talking about just NPI. Anyone you go to, any marketing firm, it doesn't, they're all going to have the same issue. The logo has to come first because it's in absolutely everything else after it.
Yep.
Okay. So here's the lesson to learn. Logos are not branding, and they're not branded anywhere in dentistry. So while they are very emotional and subjective things that you do want to pay attention to at the beginning of your career of ownership, we get it. Absolutely. Do your due diligence, find your logo designer, get your logo done. Okay. But don't let it hold up everything else after it, because everything else after it is more important.
Right.
For your future success, everything after the logo design is the most important. And after you decide on a logo, how many years have I been doing this? I've never had a dentist come to me and say, I settled on that logo 6 months ago and now I don't like it. I've never heard that. Have you?
No.
Never. Okay. So it's not the process, it's the decision. Make your decision and move on. Right?
Yeah.
And then all the other projects, so whatever marketing firm you use or whatever other service you use or website developer, whatever you're doing for your marketing, don't let that project hold up the really, really, really important projects.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're messing around with the logo and seeking the opinions of people that, are not trained or not, that don't understand.
Right.
And then the 4 or 5 months go by and you're having these arguments and each person is defending their point of view. And
yes,
meanwhile, the mail isn't going out, your radio spots aren't running,
right.
the website isn't getting built. And,
right.
You're losing patient after patient after patient that you could have had. I mean, that makes a logo really expensive.
Yes, a very expensive. It's futile. It is absolutely futile. Actually, there's on one of the dental forums now, there's somebody else just posted their logo last Friday or Saturday. And of course, every expert in dentistry is posting their opinion. And when they get all done, they end up more confused than they were before they started. Yeah. So they're more unsure and uncertain of themselves after than they are before.
I've got a good little story I got to tell you.
Okay, good.
You may not remember this client. It was quite a while ago. They had a very successful practice, and we helped him get there. But he had a logo. He was a avid duck hunter,
mm-hmm.
and his logo was ducks.
Okay.
And it was hunter green and all of this stuff, and it was actually not it was kind of weird. you know, what do ducks have to do with dentistry? Absolutely nothing.
Right. Right.
But it didn't seem to affect anything. You know, he still had a great practice. People showed up and they, oh yeah, you're a duck hunter. That's great. So you know, that just illustrates to me that it doesn't really, it's not all that important.
Right. Right. So now we get to branded, which is where I think most dentists want to go, but they get it kind of confused, the difference between branding and branded. Branded, a great example of branded is if you're in a black room, everything is black around you, and all I do is flash the Nike symbol at you. And I say, what brand is that? And you immediately say Nike. That's an example of branded.
Yeah.
Now, the ability to do that costs million. In this case, I'm probably close to $1 billion. Okay, and no dentist on the end of this microphone is ever going to get there. Okay, but
nor do they need to.
No, nor do they need to. Right, that's the good news. Okay, but you can get pretty darn close. You really can, because the good news about dentistry is you're not trying to be an international brand. You're not even trying to be a brand in your country. Most of you don't want to be a brand in your state. Maybe some of you want to be a brand in your whole town, but the majority of you really only want to be a brand in about a 10-mile radius around your practice.
Yep.
Right? Okay. Think of it. These are all dental advantages, right? Advantages to being in the dental business. Okay. So you don't have to pay for impressions worldwide or countrywide or statewide or countywide or citywide. You just need to concentrate your marketing dollars on generating impressions within your core draw area, maybe a little bit beyond, but for the most part, your core draw area. And you need to keep generating impressions like that time and time again, right on top of each other. Okay. Now, why is this really important? There's lots of reasons why it's really important. Number one, it's good for everyone to understand that they're never going to be Nike. It's good because you're never going to ask someone else to make you or make you become Nike, help you become Nike, when that is such an unbelievably off the wall expectation, which will never be met, and it will keep you in a constant state of disappointment. Okay. Number two, when dental practices consistently promote their practice based primarily on a price incentive endlessly to the same core market, month after month, year after year, how do you think they're branding their practice? How do you think the non-patient in that circle feels about that dental practice? In converse, let's say you had a dental practice that promoted within that 10-mile circle on a consistent basis year over year, that used the benefits of today's dentistry rather than a price incentive. How is that practice perceived by the non-patient in that market area?
Right.
Now you know why we brought up branding.
Right.
Okay? Because there's people out there, there's dentists out there who are saying, I'm going to brand myself to be a really high quality, almost fee-for-service or total fee-for-service practice, maybe with a cosmetic element, a sedation element, sleep element, 6-month smiles element, whatever element, additional niche dentistry services. And their marketing is, and their advertising is totally mismatched to what they're trying to build. Because they go out there and they brand themselves as the cheap dentist in town. And once you brand yourself the cheap dentist in town, boy, is it expensive to unbrand yourself.
Well, yeah, not only that, but you have a boatload of competition because there's a zillion other dentists doing the same thing,
Right, right. Okay,
competing on price.
right.
We, we, we call it the race to the bottom, you know?
Right. So that's why we brought up branding. We brought up branding. Everything I know, Fred Joyle has a book called Marketing is Everything, right? And some of
everything is marketing.
Yeah, that's right. Everything is marketing. And so everything you do is a part of your brand. So the message you send out on the street, or the message you have on your website, or the deals you have, or the deals you don't have, or whatever, everything, the service you provide, the reviews you're getting, whether or not you can schedule online, everything is branding. Okay. Be very careful. Everybody listening to this, be very careful about what the words are that you're putting out on the street about your dental practice, because that's how people who are not your patients are going to perceive you.
Yeah, it's typically the only thing they have to go on.
Exactly.
You know.
So I'm sorry, Howie. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, if you can present yourself as a problem solver that is so convenient and so technologically up to date and so friendly,
right, and so inclusive of the whole family, and
exactly.
so this, and with so many wonderful charities that you provide access for, and all this stuff, right?
That's a pretty good brand, right?
That's a great brand, right? That's an awesome brand. There's nothing wrong with that brand. It's a great brand to be within your 10-mile circle. Okay.
Yeah.
So anyway, have we beat branding up?
I think we have. Yeah.
Well, if anybody has any questions, or we have a mailbag now.
Oh, yes, a mailbag.
What is the mailbag? Do we have a mailbag? Is it Josh? It's Josh@newpatientsinc.com. JOSH at newpatientsinc.com. So if you have a subject, please don't send us your logo and ask us what we think of it. Okay?
Yeah. That might be kind of fun.
If that's the case, I'm posting it to Dental Town immediately.
Yeah.
And then we'll just sit back and have a sandwich and watch what happens.
Yeah.
Anyway, no.
Yeah. Send us questions or a topic you think you might want to have us cover, and we'd be glad to do it.
Yeah. If you've had a promotion media type that has been wonderfully successful, or a media type that you've implemented that really didn't work well, share with us, what are you doing? How did you do it? Where did you do it? How much did you spend on it? For how long? Right? Give us some details, and we'll be happy to bring it up in one of our topics.
Yeah, good idea. We're gonna sign off now, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you. We hope you've enjoyed our podcast today. You can find more podcasts on our YouTube channel, on Stitcher, and iTunes. Also on our websites, dentalwebcontent.com and newpatientsinc.com.